Good morning, team. Good morning, YouTube. This is the No Book Left Behind kind of podcasty thing where we look up authors and we try to understand sell-through rates and what's popular, what's not, and why. So we equip people who are out there sourcing and picking, and if they're not doing the scan thing, which a lot of folks don't. This gives us the information required to be one step ahead of the scanners. Because remember, as long as they have to scan, they will always be slower than your brain. But your brain has got to be equipped to go out there and do the thing, right? So just like when I was a wedding photographer, like we don't practice. I mean, we do out in the world. We practice and we get prepared before we're out in the wild ready to execute. Does that make sense? Just like I would practice a photograph or a style or lighting or whatever prior to the wedding, because I don't want to be figuring something out on the wedding day. Does that make sense? So that's kind of the way that I approach life. Try to shove all that knowledge in your brain pan. You know what I'm saying? So first thing we're going to do is I still haven't changed the person's name. Charlie Jane Anders is where we're going to start. She has been described as this generation's Ursula K. Le Guin. We're on books. Let me hit apply. We're on the last 90 days. Let's go to active first. Do you guys know who this author is? Have you guys read this person? She has 7,217. This is one number that we're looking for here. So we're going to call it 7,200 just to keep easy math. And then let's go to sold and see how she does. Whoo, 3% sell-through. That's not so good. That's not so good at all. So maybe Charlie Jane Anders. And again, so bear in mind, like these rates and whatnot, they aren't necessarily reflective of the strength of the author or the quality of the book itself from actually a reading it perspective. This is more of a reflection, but it could be like, because if it's a bad book, nobody buys it. So, but just bear that in mind as we go through here. Let's see. Why is it still doing Darwin? Hold on. Let's make sure we didn't mess up here. Okay. 6.37. I think we were messing up a little bit. I think Darwin had the 3%. That's not very good either. But Darwin gets a pass because he's been around for a long time. And Darwin's situation is probably that she's only got 883 active listings. So this is much lower. Still not very good. Let's see what she's working with. So good morning, guys. I hope you guys, your Sunday, I don't know what you got going on today. I hope it involves coffee, fun, and relaxing and hitting reset on life, at least for the week. Man, she just doesn't really have any sold. Am I doing this wrong? It's weird not to have any sold whatsoever. This is the one that I see all the time, the city in the middle of the night. I like that cover. Okay, cool. Well, that wasn't very exciting. Do you guys have another one that might be a little bit more exciting? I had a note list. What are my notes for the show? Now! That didn't help. So last time I did this, I wrote down a bunch of folks that I would have fun looking up. So let me grab just somebody from over Cha. Let's do Peter Straub. This guy has written a bunch of different stuff. And my headset just died. And I've never looked him up. So this is like part of like the Blue Rose trilogy. And its 3 books are kind of loosely connected. But he's written horror. He's written fantasy. He's partnered up with like Stephen King and stuff. So let's give him a looky-loo. So we're going to go Straub. Last 90 days, we're going to change this to books first. Condition. I never hit that apply button. When I get coffee cups made, it's going to say, remember to hit apply. All right. So we're in active here. We have about 6,439 listings. So let's add this. Peter Straub. We'll call it 6,450 just for easy math. Come back over here. Let's also go to antiquarian and collectible because you do have to look up both. And I didn't hit apply again because I'm a noob. So only 540 listings on that one. So we'll just call this just 7,000 listings. So what that does is it tells us about how many of his books, how many sellers, or excuse me, how many of his books are on the secondhand market, right? Supply and demand is a thing. If you have a really popular book that everybody wants, but you have a lot of copies of it, that price is going to stay down because everybody has access to a copy. When the price shoots up, it's when everybody wants a book, the demand is high, but there's a scarcity, right? So if everybody wants the book, but there's only 3 available, that price is going to skyrocket. So that's why this stuff is relevant, why you want to know about how many there are and then what the sell-throughs are. So let's look at the sell-throughs. And then we'll take a minute. We'll look at see if she's got any BOLOs. So she's got a 10% sell-through on the antiquarian collectible. Let's check this over here. And she's got about an 11% sell-through. So let's just kind of put it right around 11, I think. 10.5, 11, which is pretty good. And Peter Straub. We're talking about Peter Straub. We'll just call it 11. To kind of give you an idea of where the sell-through rates really are, like the big winner is Frida. Colleen Hoover still sells really well. Sarah Moss, still, obviously, she still really sells. Kristen Hanna. These are 20, anything above a 20% sell-through, for me at least, I feel kind of moves quickly, if that makes sense. So when you get up to like these 40s and stuff, man, like you just can't keep them in stock. You know what I'm saying? So once you get between like the 10 and 20, that's, they sit for a couple of months, maybe 6 months, maybe even a year, but eventually they'll do. Once you get down here, you probably want to make sure that you're only grabbing like special copies or really nice copies of it, because like the commons, as it were, I sometimes think of things as in rare, uncommon, and commons. Like the commons are going to be difficult to sell. Does that make sense? Or difficult to rehome. Not that you shouldn't try. Every book needs a home. No book left behind, but it's important to know these stats, because we find ourselves in situations where we have to like, okay, I could only grab a few of these. So let's go back over here to Peter Straub. And plus, this allows you the information to beat the scanners, which we've all been to book fairs. We've all been to the Goodwill bins. We've all been into estate sales, and we all see that guy that's in the corner going beep, 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 beep. And I'm not knocking that person. I'm glad he's in there saving the books too. But man, I want to get to him first, don't I? And so let's check out the solds for the Peter Straub. Ghost Story I've not actually heard of before. So what we're going to do now is we're going to kind of look at some of the BOLOs here. And these are sold books. Like this is money actually has exchanged hands. Because remember, you can put any book on any platform for any price. The question is whether or not it's somebody that has money exchanged hands for the book. Is that, that's how, with auction records, things like that. Signed by, why would Peter Straub sign Stepford Wives? Shadowland. Centipede Press books coming up a lot in here. Bachman books. We're not on Bachman. All right, let's check these out. Oh, that's cool. Ghost Story. Have you guys read this one? That's a pretty book. You see that? Shut up, wife. I love this photograph because this is kind of how I feel our government is. And I don't care which government you're referencing, and I don't care which side of the aisle you're referencing. This is exactly what I see when I see Republicans in office, and this is exactly what I see when I see Democrats in office. It's so bad. Anyway, really beautiful cover. This one's by Centipede. Look at this down at the bottom and the hair that comes off the side there. That's neat. Illustrated by Douglas. Centipede Press. Oh man, that's rad. All right, let's look at this. Woo, look at that outside cover. That's the dust jacket there. That's a pretty book. Have you guys ever seen that one before? This one's for $400. Talisman and Black House. Are Talisman and Black House the part of the same series? Are Talisman and Black House part of the same series? I've not read a lot of Straub. I know he's good, and I know people like him. The Talisman and Black House are part of the same series. They form a 2-book fantasy horror series co-written by Stephen King and Peter Straub. Black House is the sequel to Talisman, taking place about 2 decades later and continuing the story of Jack Sawyer. This is another thing I don't know. Did you know this? Both books are loosely connected to the Dark Tower universe, which is Stephen King's 7-book fantasy fiction romp with Roland the Gunslinger, which is fantastic. That I have read. So very cool. Let's take a look at some photos. I've never seen this in the wild. Only 3,500 copies of this exist. This is a gorgeous book. Or 2 books. Paintings by Rick Barry. That's cool. Ooh, a little damage, but that's all right. That's all right. Things happen. Very neat. Okay. So a little box set now we know that exists. What's this one? Signed by the author. Yep, Stephen King book signed. That's pretty good. $350. Dang. Is he out? Does he still go out and do signings and stuff? What's this? The Stepford Wives is by Ira Levin. Why is it showing up in Peter Straub? Why is it signed by Peter Straub? Laura, what is this? Oh, this edition of The Stepford Wives by Ira Levin is limited to 376 copies. I wonder why. That seems kind of random, right? All copies are signed by Peter Straub, who wrote the introduction, and Laura Lee Brom, who created the illustrations. That's what happened. 26 copies lettered A through Z, and 350 copies numbered 1 through 350 are printed on Mohawk. All right, well. Oh, this is Origin of Species again. You don't have to go through all those. Charles Darwin, first edition. Shadowland. What's this one about? I guess just another box set. Centipede Press again. Sealed, so we don't get to look through it. That's all right. Another Darwin. Origin of Species. That's really cool. What else do we got? American Fantastic Tales. This is another Centipede Press, right? Is that a Centipede Press? The box set, edited by Peter Straub. I didn't know this existed either. Terror and Uncanny from Poe to the Pulp, 768. That's cool. All right, neat. Do you guys feel sufficiently educated on Peter Straub? There's a couple other ones here. Cemetery Dance. He worked a lot with Stephen King. Floating Dragon. Pretty much the only Peter Straub books I see out in the wild are this Blue Rose and then the Talisman one with the oh wow. Let's look at this too. So here's Coco. Coco is part of this the Blue Rose series. I don't know if it's the first or the last one. Are these paperbacks from hell? These John Sauls? I might have those upstairs. Here's Mystery, which is, it goes Mystery, Coco, and the Throat, I think is those. Why the First Child Born in Space is the final horror will begin. All right, I'm in. Excuse me. And guys, just so you know, we will be on later on tonight. We have a different show. We're going to do a magazine show this evening. The Devil's Wine. Check this out. Ray Bradbury. Oh my gosh, that's cool. Ray Bradbury, Stephen King, Peter Straub. Signed hardcover edition. That's fun. Good morning, Pasminger. We're just kind of hanging out this morning. No selling or anything. Lots of books in the buy now. Feel free to check all that out. Everything's searchable by author, by genre, by edition, and all that. So if you need something, just let me know. But we're filling out our spreadsheet of sell-through rates that way because I'm a bookstore, but I'm out there and I'm picking and I'm digging books out of basements. So the more I have in my head, the more I'm able to help clients rehome their books. Better able I am to save the books, the better I can beat the scanners. So I'm making this for myself, but I figured I'd do it together with everybody. C to A. All right, so we just did Straub. He's to the list. Do you guys have somebody you want me to look up? We might cut this a little short this morning. Origin of Species again. Let's probably do one more author. Mom's working. Aren't we always? The moms. Alice Walker. Let's do Alice Walker next. She's famous. I want to say Alice Walker wrote Color Purple, if I'm not mistaken. So how you do this is you write Alice Walker and this is Terapeak is where we are in the back here. We'll make sure we're in the right category books, and then we're going to hit enter. And what this should do is bring up all of the Alice Walker books that are sold, and we'll take a look at that in a second. But first, let's go to active. And this number here gives you the number of total listings available on eBay for this. So we're going to, what did we say it was? About 5,000. So we'll put about 5,100 right there. But for Alice Walker especially, we're probably going to need to go to Antiquarian Collectible. Let's hit apply. Again, we'll go to active. She's only got 382 listings there, so we'll just call it 5,400. So not a ton, not a few, but not a ton. We'll go back over to sold here. And now we'll kind of see where the bangers are, right? Obviously, she wrote Color Purple. That's the big one. So Color Purple, obviously that's going to be her Easton Press's heavy hitter. Signed is a heavy hitter. Here's a Folio Society edition. I had never seen that before. I won't pull up the Easton Press. We kind of all know what that looks like. Temple of My Familiar. I'm not familiar with that one. Horses Make a Landscape. Not familiar with that one. But this is cool because, like, this is a trick I used when I was a wedding photographer. I would always look at really high quality photographs and wedding photographs and try to figure out how they were made, right? So this is kind of that insofar as you know, if you can get what the book looks like in your head, and you don't necessarily have to have like perfect recall, right, on the information. But what happens is, at least with me, is when you're out in the wild, you know, you'll look at a book and go, I know that from somewhere. And then over time, you learn to trust that instinct. And not all the time will it work out, but a lot of time it does. So this is another reason why I like to do that and just kind of look at the books, is because, you know, your brain's a database, right? So this is obviously her real famous work. It's civil rights. It's Whoopi Goldberg was in the movie when I was a kid. This is really hard to find in the wild. I have found it once or twice in a variety of different conditions. More often than not, I'll find like the little book club edition of it, which is probably not as expensive. Good morning, Beardman. Already got your paperbacks from hell packed up and ready to go, friend. So here's another Color Purple. I think this is a Folio Society. That's really cool. That's neat. I've never seen this one. Oh, it was just released. Look at that, 2021. First printing 2021. Okay. So be on the lookout for this one. This one's about $50-$60. What site do you use for these searches? Gunslinger. It is, this is actually eBay. Not that I recommend buying on eBay. Definitely buy a Whatnot. The fees are less for everybody. And just a better experience over Whatnot. But this is eBay. It's Terapeak. Here, I'll show it to you real quick. This is, I guess you can't see. So we're on eBay, ebay.com. And then if you're a seller on eBay, you come over to more, and then under more, there's research. This used to be called Terapeak, is what this used to be called. I don't know what they're calling it now, but it functions exactly the same. So Amazon's sales rank is pretty good for like just knowing how fast something does, but you can't look up the BOLOs. So that's Alice Walker. Let's get her sold percentage. She's only got a 6% sell through in Antiquarian. Are we in Antiquarian? Let's go back over to Antiquarian Collectible. Apply. I love data. I'm a nerd. So still roughly about a 6% sell through rate. So that's not great. But again, Alice is probably going to fall under the category of, like, her books are great, but she's been around so long and it's been reprinted so much, and everybody's kind of had a chance to read it, so she's having to get new readers that are, just coming up and whatnot. And but it's printed so often, so the price on most editions will come down. And then what happens is kind of this like K effect, right? All of the like normal printings, like people still want them, but you won't get more than a couple of bucks for them. But then what happens is the more collectible versions, the truly scarce items like the first edition, those things skyrocket. So good morning, Book Palace. It's good to see you. No selling or anything today. We're just kind of nerding out. I usually do this on Monday morning to kind of start the week, and then I go out sourcing immediately on Monday. But I think we're going to end up starting that today. So this is kind of a good way to get my gears and my juices and get the coffee. Here's one I've not seen. Alice Walker, Temple of My Familiar, came out after The Color Purple. 1990. That's not even that old. Or am I just getting that old? That is 30 years ago. My God. I'm old, friend. Anyway, so that's Alice Walker, Color Purple fame, Easton Presses, Folio Societies, and this is what the first edition. So will it be Sunday? No, Cassie, I'm probably going to try to do it more often. We might end up still doing this in the morning on Monday. My goal... shoot for the stars. My goal would be to do it like 5-6 days a week in the morning, like start almost every day off like this. And just come on, maybe only do like a half an hour or something, 45 minutes. Get up, do it at 7. And then by 7:45, 8, I could finish, still have time to eat breakfast, and I need to get out the door by 8:30, 8:45. So we might just do this more often and not necessarily in lieu of. The goal, right? It's on the list. Right after learn Portuguese, which is always my joke. That's an old reference to a movie called, or not a movie, but even though it is a movie, a show called Red Dwarf. Let's look up Red Dwarf while we're here. Do you guys know Red Dwarf? If you don't know Red Dwarf, you should. Red Dwarf is it's actually like if Star Trek and Family Guy had a baby. And it was made in like the 90s, and it's super hilarious, and I love it. So, Steve, I love how free and collude you're on here now. Beerman, thank you, man. I'm really trying to make this my home. I just love it over here. I love being able to talk to book people. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't get to talk to folks a lot in my real life, so this is really nice. What was I just looking up? Red Dwarf. Oh goodness. Like Orville, yeah. But not. So Orville is really polished, and that is exactly like Star Trek. But the whole premise behind Red Dwarf is that the grossest, slobbiest man got saved in stasis and then flew out into deep space for 5 million years. So it's like a comedy, but like you have to watch it. It was made 20, 30 years ago. My wife introduced it to me. Let's go over to not all categories. Is there any books? There's got to be books, right? Yeah. It's British. Thank you. Yes. It's from across the pond. So nobody likes the books. Oh no. Let me see. Like the Smeg Ups. Oh my God. Okay, we won't spend a ton of time on this. This is kind of a little fun deviation for me. But like, this is the guy. That's Dave Lister. Like, this is one of the bad guys. Like, he has a hologram, and the hologram gets a hologram sickness and goes crazy and chases him around with Mr. Flibble. Like, that's where we're at on Red Dwarf. Ever tell you about my feet? My investigating feet? Anyway, if you've seen it, I'm cracking you up. If you've not seen it, I probably look like an idiot. And that's all right. All right, who's next? We're going to do Faulkner. Let's do Carl Hiaasen. Carl Hiaasen, off the top of my head, wrote Striptease. That's the one with Demi Moore. If you're around in your 40s, that you probably had a crush on Demi Moore at some point or another, as we all did. G.I. Jane fame as well. Am I saying that right? H-I... Is that high? Oh, I think there's one less S. Is that accurate? Carl Hiaasen. Let's try it again. Have you guys read any Carl Hiaasen? I've not read it. Okay. So first, we're going to find his number of listings. So he's got 5,000 listings on the book category. So 4,500 there. And then let's go look over at antiquarian and collectible. So only about 300 there. So what was that? Carl's probably going to be the one we're going to wrap up on today. I do need to prepare for the other shows. We're going to do a big July 4th show. And it's going to be older books, and I'm going to try to really bring some bangers in for that show. Whatnot's doing like a fee reduction thing. They're like having fees for that weekend, which is kind of cool. So anyway, here we are under sold, and we are under books. Let's get a sell-through rate. 12.3%. That's not terrible. That's pretty good. We'll just call it 12. That's pretty good. It's solid. It's not like super great, but certainly not bad. Apply again. Make sure I'm doing this right. Let's get that 4,500. So we'll call it 4,800 on this. So not a ton of books at 12%. That's not terrible. And he's written quite a bit too. Let's check that out. Double whammy. You never know. So a lot of this one's signed by Tom Selleck. So nothing like real crazy. Skink books. What are the skink books? Apparently he did something with Tom Selleck. All right, looking through here, it does not seem like there's any like one edition that's like a bolo for him, just signed stuff. Let's see what he's got over at Antiquarian Collectible. Good morning, team. Yeah, so just like the signed stuff. So is this his first one here? And all of his covers are like really cool. Like they have just like really neat graphics. I didn't even see the alligator at the bottom there or whatever that is, crocodile, depending on the eyes. So, and again, I know strip tease. I don't know double whammy as well. Oh, that's cool. Fish hook and money. Basket case. Signs. So anyway, I guess he signs quite a bit of books. I do think and I miss him all the time because I just grab on titles. Do try to like at least flip it to the title page, because usually if they're going to sign it, they're going to sign it before, either right on the inside or on the title page. So this is Striptease. This is the one that I was talking about before. This was a Demi Moore movie, if I remember correctly, which is all part of our childhoods. I see this one all the time. Not necessarily signed, but it's neat. Cool. And guys, I think that's all we're going to do, at least for now. Let me just show you real quick the show that we're doing later on today, and then we're going to kind of jet out of here and get ready for that. I need to set up my table and stuff. So my oldest, one of the reasons I'm able to stream more is that my family's really starting to help me out. My kid is 20. I have an 18-year-old. They're really kind of starting to help me with more than like lifting things. So I'm able to do more of just this stuff. So this one's really neat. We have a lot of ads, like real cheap. Like this is a 1940s Goodyear ad, ready to go, ready to frame, just for like $1. The No Book Left Behind mantra definitely does extend to magazines. When I first envisioned this whole thing, and we might still do this, is I really just wanted to like go on Twitch with a top-down camera, and just like flip through the books. And like that was going to be the thing. So Blue Sun, sorry I didn't get your message right. Any Forgotten Realms novels? We can look real quick. I genuinely do. I definitely do. I just don't know if they're listed. Boom, boom, boom. Right now we have just the only thing that we have listed is the Salvatore, but I could probably look around and find some more. Dritzt. I love me some Dritzt. What were we doing? Over here. Okay. So here's a Dairy Queen one. These are all really neat. I put these in my antique mall booth a lot. They sell pretty well. People are always looking for artwork. This is a full magazine from 1933. We have a lot of this really old stuff in this one. Lots of Rolling Stones, too, with really nice covers. There's Axel and Slash and all the folks. Young too. Ice Capades, football. So if this is your jam, if you like the old magazines and the old covers, some Life magazines in here of Anne Moreau Lindbergh. I have a book of hers as well. So, but like, there's also some bangers, guys. Like, this is April 9th, 1945. So this is a wartime Life magazine. This was what? May, June, July. We dropped the bomb 3 months after this magazine was issued. So there's some really significant heat in this show, and it's all really low starts, and it does not have a lot of pre-bids at the moment. So here's Napoleon and Waterloo. Here's another wartime one, 1945. So this was 2 months before we dropped the bomb. So wild shit, man. NASA, when we went to the moon. We'll flip through these. This won't be like a super fast show. We'll just kind of hang out and chill. It's just about drugs. I like drugs. I wish I was on drugs right now. Anyway, 1934. This one here is that's Franklin. That's Delano Roosevelt, FDR. He's most of the reasons why we have like Social Security and healthcare, and we're not losing fingers to train accidents and stuff as a worker. Some sheet music. Anyway, I could go on all day, but that's all I'm going to do today, guys. And I will be back in just a few hours. Let's raid somebody. Always got to raid somebody. We'll do it pretty fast here. Let's raid. Who's doing what? I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I am going to try to do this more and more and more. I'm going to immediately reschedule this show for tomorrow morning. I will come into... Oh, there's literally no one else streaming. Oh, noes. And this person... Is this right? Is this why you're all hanging out with me? It's not because you like me. It's because I'm all that's available. I'm all right with that. We'll hang out for a little bit. This person was already supposed to go 8 o'clock. So we'll hang out. We'll hang out and wait for one of the 8 o'clockers to go live, and then we'll send you guys. I mean, just kidding. Cassie, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So what you're saying is, if I was the last man on earth, you'd come hang out. I get it. I get it. Let's do another author. Who do we want to do? Let's see who I have around me. I'm the only one available. I hate not rating someone. That makes me sad. Maybe Brandon Mull? Do we want to look up Brandon Mull? Let's see. We could do... Have we ever done J.K. Rowling? I don't know if we've ever done J.K. Rowling. Let's check, make sure we've not done J.K. Rowling. I actually was in a conversation with somebody about J.K. Rowling this morning. Someone who is not a book person was making a comment on how they feel J.K. Rowling has been canceled, and because of her turf opinions and how vocal she is and how some of her, and it's not even that her. I don't care for her opinion, but it's also the way that she delivers that opinion, right? So she's much less popular than she was before. And this person was really mad that the market decided that she's not very popular anymore, and they were just fit to be tied. So let's actually see if she is actually... Let's just get a point in time, because I don't have a point in time from before. I won't be able to compare it, but let's get a data point. Rowling, let's call it. Antiquarian collectible. I'm sure she has some bangers. I'm sure she does too. And also the other thing, a lot of folks, they don't really necessarily pay attention. That's always, I think, when people first get involved in politics, it's kind of a culture shock, because when you get involved in politics and in public discourse, like, you get into it, right? And then the problem becomes is that when you try to share the intensity of your passion and your thoughts and your beliefs with others, you find very quickly that most people aren't even aware what the hell's going on. And then they look at you like you're weird because of the passion and intensity in which you're delivering whatever it is that your opinion is about, whatever it might be. And then most people are just uninformed. And it's really shocking sometimes how I'm saying all that to say that I agree with you. She's always going to be popular because I would venture to say that a lot of people haven't, besides just reading the name on the book, they don't really know anything else. So let's go over here. Let's go to active and see how many she's got actually active. So 46,000. 46,000. That's a whole lot. That's a whole lot. That might be the most we've had so far. 46,000 on regular, 24,000. So let's call it 48,000. That is so many books for sale. Holy crap. We don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing yet, though. All that means is that she's been printed a whole lot. So 7% sell through on the antiquarian collectible. We'll come back over here to regular books where most of the meat was. And a 13% sell through. We're going to weigh it more heavily onto the 13% over than the other one just because there's so many more books in this one than the other. So let's just call that like 12%. Is this how do you do this? No. 0.012. No, that's not right either. 0.12 he was. Anyway, so 12%. Let's go look up some BOLOs. There were a lot of reprints with different covers. Yeah. Oh yeah. She's probably the most printed beyond like the Bible or something, right? It was a big fucking deal. Excuse my language. So here's the American editions. Let's look at solds. Prisoner of Azkaban. Signs. I'm going to try not to do the sign stuff. Oh, here's a uncorrected proof. You don't see those all the time. I'm trying to find something that you guys like aren't already aware of. Here's the deluxe editions. Nobody bought that for $900. You're cray cray. Oh wait, no, that maybe that. I'm talking about this. No one bought that for that. That's crazy. Anyway. Sign. What's this? Slytherin box set? That looks cool. Bloomsbury. So if you don't know, and I'm sure you do know, Harry Potter was not released in America first. It was released across the pond. So the true firsts are not American editions. That's why you'll always see it delineated whether it's American or UK. So this is a first. I guess it's just signed is why there's so much. To Michael, glad you read my stories. Do we know that if this is still first edition with this line? Because I know like Random House, for example, if they state first American edition, even though it's got a 2 and not a 1, that's still like a first print. And then if it was a second print, they won't write like stated first. But that's Random House that does that. I'm not sure. These are cool. Always be on the lookout for these. These advanced readers editions or uncorrected proofs, they predate the first print, first edition, because it's what's still going out to like the public to for feedback and all that stuff. So these are super collectible, and it's pretty wild. Like either the uncorrected proof is like insanely expensive because it's from a popular book, right? Or like no one cares. You can't give the things away, which is kind of fun. I do know some folks that collect them, so that's not too bad. So this is neat because this kind of points out what I was saying before. This is a UK edition because it says Philosopher's Stone. Now, I guess it could be still printed in America, but usually that's the tell when it says Philosopher's Stone versus the Sorcerer's Stone. And the reason why that is because over across the pond, the Philosopher's Stone is more a part of their culture and their history and their fairy tales and all of that. And over in America, that's not really a thing. Flamel and all that stuff. We don't, alchemy and so on and so forth, is not really something that we do, but not as much. Right. So when they released it first as the Philosopher's Stone, and then when they tested it in American markets, no one knew what the fuck a Philosopher's Stone was. So they moved it over to Sorcerer's Stone. That's a marketing department that did that. They said it wouldn't translate well to Americans. Yeah, it's because we just it's interesting, especially when you really get into literature. Like literature shapes nations. It shapes culture. It shapes everything. And if you don't have certain things in certain cultures, or you have something in one culture and not the other, it can drastically change what the population of that area does and does not know. So like we always have to take like different viewpoints and perspectives into consideration, because like something as simple like this, Americans don't know or understand or connect with the Philosopher's Stone. So it's just an interesting thing, right? Because when you let your brain wander beyond that, like how many other like things in life does that apply to? You know, anyway. So this is another uncorrected proof. Super cool to look at, I think. This is really neat. I've never seen this. I would own this. I've always wondered if I'd be a Slytherin or a Gryffindor, but I'm pretty sure I'd be a Gryffindor with Slytherin tendencies. Insofar as like doing what you got to do to get it done. Because all of the houses had like laudable things. It's just like, what did he say? What did Ron say? There wasn't a witch nor wizard that was bad that didn't come out of Slytherin. But that means that hopefully there were some good ones too. I don't know. You have the Ravenclaw set. My wife would be a Gryffindor with Ravenclaw tendencies. Ravenclaw, that's what I meant. Yeah. Did you know that, honey, did you know that there was a Raven? Look at this set. Not that you're super into Harry Potter anymore. Isn't those are beautiful.
That is gorgeous.
That's like a Ravenclaw. Is this the one that you have, Cass? Oh, this isn't it. She says it has sprayed edges.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's Slytherin. Okay, no, he's Ravenclaw. Harry Potter. I want to see it. This wasn't the one, hon. Edition sprayed edges. Oh, is it? This is it here. It's just a one. Or is that them? Or is this them? This has got to be them, right? Oh, those are pretty. I like how they alternate the blue and the black. These are pretty, and they got like little doors and shit.
Sorry, I'm helping a wounded cat.
Look at those. Here's your fronts.
Okay, those are even.
Those are gorgeous.
Because that is the Ravenclaw.
Yeah. That's the hotness.
That's nice.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I wish I still liked her.
I wish you still liked her too.
Trust me, I had a whole room. I miss it.
We had a whole room. See all this like space behind us? My wife and I I was a huge Rick and Morty fan. She was a big Harry Potter fan. Our whole house basement down here was done in Rick and Morty and Harry Potter. And then all that shit came out about Justin Roiland, and then J.K. Rowling just kept just won't shut the fuck up. I wish she would just, everyone's entitled to their opinion. They can say whatever they want. I'm not trying to suppress anyone's rights or anything, but I'm also entitled to have an opinion on their opinion, and I think their opinion sucks. So if she could just shut up, that would be great. I think everyone would really appreciate that. Like her actors don't support her anymore. Like they don't just come right out and just like dog her like hardcore, because even Stephen Fry.
He was the one who was like, and he's gay, but he was like.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't know Stephen Fry was gay.
Big time. But he was like, hey, she can kind of, and even lately he's been like,
dude,
you're coming out a little
ridiculous. You've lost Stephen Fry. Stephen Fry is pretty cool. So this is, I think this is a series of UK first editions. These are really pretty. These are stateside, hard to find, hard to get, very expensive, unless they're reprints, and then it's not so bad. But the covers are very, very, very different over there than they are over here. So I love Stephen Fry. I love Stephen Fry. He's hilarious. He's been hilarious forever. Is he the wizard from Monty Python and the Holy Grail? That's him, right? Or am I thinking of someone else? I might be thinking of someone else. But I do know who Stephen Fry is. Stephen Fry was in V for Vendetta, which I really enjoyed. Deathly Hallows. Again, super pretty there. We've already looked through these. That's the Carl Hiaasen. Another one of those. I think we're good there. Let's see if anybody started. We gave 20 minutes. No, not quite yet. Let's keep going. Another uncorrected proof. There's also cookbooks, what's that? What's that? What's that? What's that? We need to add Stephen Fry to our list now. Is he an author?
He did the voice reading of the online Harry Potter books.
Did he?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll have to look that up. Oh, look at these. Holy shit, those are gorgeous. Leather-bound, like, tomes. I think if I were to have a set, this is probably the set I would want. If I were going to keep a set, this is probably the one for Steve. Not going to lie. These are really pretty. These are cool. This would have been a box set probably originally. Those are really neat. I'm live, just a heads up. You want my phone, bud? There you go. My son just woke up. He usually comes immediately down and he grabs my phone. He's not used to me being live this early. So this is cool. Another neat little box set. I guess, are these the end papers? Is that what these are when they open it up? I must not do. Ugh. Is that teacher lady that was really mean and ignorant? This is pretty. Oh, look at that shot. One galleon? Oh, galleon. It's the money. So that's a pretty book, man. I've never seen that one before either. That's a pretty book. So another box set. Ooh, what's this? Look at this. Have you guys seen this before? And you weren't lying when you said this thing is friggin' reprinted all the time. Like, this is so many. These are neat, though. I like these covers. I like this artwork style. Kind of reminds me of like more contemporary illustrations in the kid books now. They're kind of, you know, the tween kind of genre is kind of, you know, the fantasy genre especially is kind of vibing on this one. If you guys are just coming in, I really appreciate you swinging by. This is kind of like my morning show to relax and just kind of like lurk up cool and nerdy shit. We are creating a database of like sell-through rates and just trying to more educate myself and I guess everybody else on what's available. So I am going to start trying to do this show more and more and more, and we'll probably always do it at about 7 a.m. That's my plan. We'll see if it works out, but you know, I make a lot of plans and not all of them work out. So we'll give it a shot. We looked up Carl Hiaasen before, but let me see if anybody's live yet. I don't want to leave you guys with no one to watch. So cool. All right, let's go raid Hollow Pages. So guys, I really appreciate you swinging by. This is the totality of the show. We do have an auction later on tonight. We're going to do vintage and antique magazines. Do give me a follow if you're not already. We regularly do cookbooks. We regularly do old shit. I haven't done this as much as I'd like, but we're going to do that more. Yeah, and this is the big show. We do this, I think, every Friday. Sometimes it moves to Saturday, but Friday night, this usually has 100, 200 listings. And then eventually, later on today, we're actually going to try to get a YouTube video done as well. So let's go ahead and raid Hollow Pages and start his or her day off right, because that is always a fun thing to do. And I'm going to reschedule this show again for tomorrow morning. And if this was a good way to start your day, and if you like having coffee with someone and talk about books and nerd shit, no pressure, no selling. You can just come hang out. It's like a Twitch show, but on Whatnot. So always welcome. Always welcome to ask questions and having it's just so much more fun with people than it is just doing it on my own. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, let's raid Hollow Pages. And you guys have a great start of your Sunday, and I will see you later on tonight. Well, you're very welcome, Pasmanian Girl. I really appreciate it. Done training, so I'll be there. Very cool. Very cool. You'll have to tell me what you've been training for and what that's all about later on, Cass. But I'm going to hit the button. I'm going to go have some breakfast, refill my coffee, and we'll see you later on tonight. If not this afternoon, because we might do another pop-up show today. I have more books than I know what to do with right now, and I need them to have other homes. So I will see you later on tonight, guys. And deuces, as they say. All right.